Hi, Nathan here, founder of Embodied Excellence, certified high performance coach, and creator of the Infinite Possibility video series. I want to tell you a quick story. So the other day, I decided to go for a 7-mile run. Now, I haven't done that in probably about 2+ years. So it's been a while. And I wasn't, I would say, completely prepared for it, in so much as I didn't bring water along with me, and I chose the worst part of the day. The sun was directly over my head. It was pretty hot out. So, but I wanted to challenge myself, and I wanted to go for this run, and felt inspired, so I just wanted to do it, right? Take action in those moments when you feel inspired. And so I decided to go for this run, and it's kind of a hard run, or a weird run where it's really hilly, like a lot of uphill. So that really kind of fatigued my muscles pretty quickly, and then it's pretty flat for a while, and then it's hilly again on the way back. So I learned a few things from this run, and I wanted to share them with you in hopes that they might serve you, or you might learn something as well. So the first thing is, of course, we could hear this 1,000 times, always be better prepared. It probably would have gone better for me if I had brought some water with me and chose to run earlier in the morning when the sun wasn't as hot. But that aside, one thing is that really helped me is I gave myself permission ahead of time that I didn't have to run the whole thing, that it was okay if I had to walk part of it, some of it, heck, even a lot of it. But I gave myself the freedom, the grace to say, hey, it's entirely possible you're not going to be able to do this entire run, so it's okay if you have to walk, because at least you're out there doing it. You're out there giving it a try. So the first thing is give yourself that grace. In life, we challenge ourselves, and when we challenge ourselves, things don't always go the way we want them to go. So give yourself that freedom to say, hey, as long as I'm out there, I'm trying, I'm making some progress along the way, then let that be okay. Because I'll tell you, I still felt amazing. I did the run. I probably ended up walking about half of it. Ran about half of it, walked about half of it intermittently. And, part of me was a little bummed because I'm like, oh, well, I used to be able to do this in one shot and just keep going. But the other part of me is like, well, no. Give yourself a little space here. And now you have a baseline. Now you know where you're at right now. And now you can base what your progress is going to be like. So what do you want to do in order to improve next time? And so it gives us that baseline with which to say, okay, what do I have to do now to get better, to do better? And it's important to have that. So the second thing that I learned, or that was important, is that when we push ourselves physically, like really push ourselves, not just a little bit, amazing things happen. So we all know that we have our physical bodies, our physical being. We have emotions. We're emotional people, creatures. And we have a mind. We have our brain, right? We have thoughts. And we know that we're spiritual creatures as well, spiritual beings. And so we also know that all of these different aspects are interrelated. Now we can talk about and codify and separate them, but we all know that really they're all interconnected, and we can't unmesh them. And so what happens is, or what happened for me, is that when I push myself physically, like really push myself, that it starts to access more of my emotion, because I'm stressing my muscles and I'm stretching, and it's that physical exertion that gets us more into our emotional body. And if you don't believe that, then just go out there and try it for yourself and do something incredibly physically straining. Or even just stretch yourself, as in physically actually stretch. Whether you're stretching your hamstrings or whatever, do a stretch that's really gonna push you a little bit, take you beyond where that comfort zone is, and then notice the emotions start to come in as you go deeper into that stretch. So when we challenge ourselves physically, it connects us to that emotion. The other thing that happens, especially with something aerobic like running, is as you're breathing heavier, you start to circulate the blood faster, you circulate more blood, and then you have also more oxygen coming into the body that's in that blood. And so the blood and the oxygen go, guess where? To your brain, right? And the brain does really well with more blood and more oxygen. So you're going to notice, as I noticed, that when I pushed myself physically, I started to get all these different ideas coming in, all these downloads of these great ideas. Well, I thought they were great ideas for me. Um, but this clarity starts to come in because the brain is now thinking more effectively, more efficiently. And so the physical absolutely is going to tie in to that mental piece as well. Now just imagine that if you on a regular basis were connecting to yourself more physically, and then connecting more with your emotions, and then having better thoughts, more focus, better judgment. Think about how that might serve you in your life. What are the different areas that might improve? What relationships might improve if you just started to connect a little more deeply in those areas? And of course, spiritually, I was running out in large part in nature. I could have had a little more nature, would have been nice. A little too much pavement for my liking, but still, there were still lots of trees around, like there's trees around me now. And connecting to nature is a way for me to connect spiritually. So to be able to go on this run, to connect to my breath, to connect to my emotions, to connect to those thoughts that were coming in, those ideas that were coming in, that inspiration, and then to connect to my spirit, my soul, was really powerful. And so that's what I want for you. I want you to challenge yourself again. Now, of course, I have to say that before you take on a new exercise routine or before you go out there and intensify whatever you may currently do, check with your doctor, make sure that it's okay for you. Make sure that your unique physical expression that's okay for you to do, to take on. And if it is, I want to challenge you to go out there and really push yourself. And I don't just mean a little bit. We know the difference between doing a little bit, like, yeah, I kind of push myself a little bit, and when we like really go after it. You know that feeling when you're just dying exhausted. And that's what I'm talking about. You just, like, you can't push anymore because that's how hard you've pushed, right? So I want you to give that a try. Go out there and just notice what comes up for you emotionally. What comes up for you mentally? What ideas come in for you? Are you connected with your spirit? Are you connected with something higher, the universe, God, whatever it is for you? Does that give you that deeper connection? And if so, write it all down. Write down the different emotions that you felt. Write down the different ideas that come in. Just write down those connections and whatever transmits through you. Just write it down and start to notice, because that's going to be your inspiration to keep going after it, to keep pushing yourself even harder to that next level. Because we all have another level that we can go to. We all have another level that we can experience. And so that's what I want for you. All right, I hope this video has served you. If so, go out there, like it, share it, leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear your stories, like mine, about the 7-mile sort of run. My guess is that happens all the time, so I'd love to hear your stories. So that's it for this week. Until I see you next week, I want you to go out there every single day and be an extraordinary ambassador for humanity.